my lovely friends, it is Margaret, and it is time to freak out a little bit. So I know it is August, but I am chronically the last person, pretty much, to post the mid-year freakout tag. So this is me posting my mid-year freakout tag, talking about everything I read from January to the end of June, because you can't do it before the end of June because I still have time left, okay? That's time that I could use to read and maybe meet some of my goals before it's time to tell you guys how badly I did on them. Okay, I'm being facetious. I actually think I've done pretty well on most of them. I'm gonna go into my mid-year goals check-in. If you are not interested in any of that and you just want to see the tag, I will put a timestamp on the bottom of the screen so that you can just skip to that time to when I get into the tag. If you haven't seen my video where I talk about my yearly reading goals, I will have it linked up top so you can go watch that if you're interested. My first goal was to read 100 books in a year. I think I'm doing pretty well because I've read 55 so far, and that's just through June. I've read more since then. I just haven't entered them on Goodreads. Another one of my goals was to read 12 books that are in my TBR jar. As of June, I had read 6. I also wanted to read 20 non-science fiction or fantasy books, and I met that goal in May. I wanted to read 24 books from my shelves, and so far I have read 15, which means only 10 more to go as of June. I also wanted to have read 6 book box books by the end of the year. I have made it to 5 so far as of June. And the final goal that I am aiming to meet this year is to read 50 authors of color. So I'm at 26, so I'm quite a bit over halfway now that we've gotten through July, because I know that a lot of what I've read in July has been written by a person of color. Now that all of that is over, it is tag time. So the first question is, what is the best book that you have read so far in 2020? This is a highly biased answer, I think, but it also is a really well-written book in my opinion, and that is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. This is by far my favorite book that I have read this year. It has one of the best written women. I don't know if she is necessarily a well-written woman of color, but she is one of the best written women that I have seen written by a male author. I just love this book, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more because, yeah, we're going to. I tried not to do that, guys, but I couldn't not. I'm sorry. The second question is, what is the best sequel that you have read so far in 2020? And for me, that is going to be Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray. This is the third book in the Diviner series, which is basically a series about superpowered teens living in 1920s New York, and they start getting into some supernatural, spooky stuff that's happening. The third book, I feel like, was probably the best written. It is not my favorite in the series, but my reasons for the last book being my favorite in the series are, number one, spoilery, and secondly, have nothing to do with the writing, and there's some pacing. There are lots of pacing issues in King of Crows. As much as I love it, there are lots of pacing issues, but I thought Before the Devil Breaks You was brilliantly written, and the way that she brought everything together, all of these storylines that she has been working, and then got them set up for the final book. I don't think necessarily she delivered on everything in the final book, but she definitely got things set up really, really well in this book. And I loved it. There's a scene at the end that I just adore at the end of this book. I'm not going to talk about what it is though, but it's one of those things that, like, as a woman, I'm like, I like it when dudes do that. He's aware. I appreciate it. I'm still laughing over Ghost Bubbies. I am, and I will continue to be laughing over Ghost Bubbies because it's funny. Question number 3 is a new release that you have not read yet, but you want to. I need to get to Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. I love To Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and we're going to talk about that later. But, like, this is about her sister, Dani. She gets stuck in an elevator, and the handsome man on the front ends up helping rescue her, because I can't remember. I think maybe I don't know what he is. But anyways, there's a picture that comes out of him carrying her out of the elevator, and it kind of goes viral, and they decide to use that for their own ends. So they're fake dating in this fake relationship. You know how much I love fake dating. And yeah, it goes from there, and I'm excited and ready for it. And I don't know why this wasn't on my August TBR, but it should have been. I'm thinking about just ignoring my entire August TBR now. Another book that I need to get to is 10 Things I Hate About Pinky by Sandhya Menon. I love this woman's writing. She is fantastic. I have loved every book that she has ever written. I have given it 5 stars. The Dimple series is just so fun and sweet and wholesome. I really, really enjoy it. This is the 3rd book. It is about Pinky, and oh gosh, I don't remember his name anymore, but I was like, oh, I can't wait. Like, they were in the last book, so there was something about Sweetie, and I was just like, this relationship dynamic, can we expand upon it? And then I found out this book was coming out, so I am ready. I am ready to go with that. I want to read it. Question number 4 is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? I don't remember what day this is coming out. I'm pretty sure it's November. I think it's November. For some reason, he has changed from October. I don't understand why he's done this to us, but that is Tyrant's Tomb by Rick Riordan. It is the 5th book in the Trials of Apollo series, which I haven't read yet, but I'm going to read, and I'm ready for it. I just want to read it so that, because I hear there are things happening with Percy after this. I really, have issues. I really should just read Rick Riordan because I love Rick Riordan, but sometimes I put things off until I hear that there's Percy Jackson news involved. Percy and Annabeth will always be my favorite. Always. That will never change. Question number 5 is, what is your biggest disappointment? I'm gonna have to go with Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. It's not the worst book I've read this year. I definitely think that goes to Home for Erring and Outcast Girls, just because of things that were in it and things that were not in it, and just the way she did that. I went into the Throne of Glass series knowing that it was early in Sarah J. Maas's career. It was also early kind of in YA. It was in that 2012 kind of period where, you'd have that token black character or token whatever character, and most of the cast would be white. I was expecting some problematic material going into the Throne of Glass series. I was expecting it not to be the most inclusive thing that I have ever seen. However, there is a trope in here that happens, and there were so many better ways that she could have accomplished her goal than to do what she did to a person of color to advance the white main character's storyline. There were so many ways that she could have done that, and she chose the most probably problematic, I think. Possibly. I mean, I'm not really the end-all be-all judge on that, but from what I have read, one of the most problematic ones that she could have chosen. I liked the book otherwise. I probably will continue on with the series at some point. I'm just not done being mad that this thing happened in Crown of Midnight. Question number 7 is new favorite author, either debut or new to you. This is gonna be a difficult one because... Okay, we could say Talia Hibbert because I loved this book so much. I enjoyed it. I was surprised. I don't know, I've only read one of her books, so I'm not sure you could call her my new favorite author. I could also go with Rebecca Roanhorse, who wrote Trail of Lightning and Storm of Locusts, and a third book, or she is writing a third book that I need desperately. Listen, what does she need me to do so I can get my hands on this book? I am willing to make deals with this woman. I really am enjoying Rebecca Roanhorse's writing and the way that she is creating her worlds and creating her characters, and you're going to hear more about some of these characters later. But I just really, I just highly recommend Rebecca Roanhorse. I highly recommend her. I was thoroughly surprised, not thoroughly surprised, but I really enjoyed Trail of Lightning and specific aspects of Trail of Lightning that I don't want to get into it because that's a point, it's a plot point later. I also need to mention Alechia Dow and The Sound of Stars because, number one, this is going to be in, there's a question later that you're going to see this in, but it's a gorgeous cover. But I really enjoyed the way she took science fiction and she took reality and she made this fantastic love story. I appreciated it. If you want a soft science fiction that's mostly about the romance, go for it. Question number 8 is your newest fictional crush. And so we're going to go back to a couple of books that I've already mentioned. The first one I just gotta say is Jim Holden. I feel like probably more Jim Holden from the TV show, because that was where I got attached to him. Although in the books he's a soft boy, guys. I'm sorry. He is the sweetest. He's a little stubborn and stupid at times, but I love him. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. And then the tortured, angsty bad boy that is Kai Arviso from Trail of Lightning and Storm of Locusts. Oh, James Holden is from the Expanse series, by the way. You probably need to know that. Leviathan Wakes, Caliban's War, Abaddon's Gate, the rest of the series that I don't know the titles because I don't own them yet. But anyways, back to Kai Arviso. He is just tortured and angsty and broody, and I love him, but he is also very sweet and supportive and fantastic. And I like him, and you're gonna see here in a minute, just wait for the next question, but you're gonna see, yeah. Question number 9 is newest favorite character, hands down, no questions, no, number one new favorite character, like up there with Annabeth Chase, is Naomi Nagata. Played by the brilliant Dominique Tipper, who just, like, took this character to another level. Like I said, she is one of the best written female characters I've ever seen that a guy has written. Like, she just, like, there has not been, there have been moments in this series that I'm like, yeah, definitely written by a dude, but they're not, like, they're more stuff from the, it's all male point of view, but it's more like thoughts in the guys' heads than it is about how Naomi is represented as a woman. She's smart, she is badass, she's so much fun for me to just watch. She's witty, and she's part of my new favorite ship. So that's usually how it goes. Like, favorite characters are always part of my favorite ship. I could stick James Holden in here as well because I love him very much. And then I do have to give a mention to Maggie Hosky because I've talked so much about The Expanse, and I should talk about something that is not The Expanse. Maggie Hosky is what people think they mean when they write a strong female character, guys. She is so well-rounded. She is violent, yes, but she is also a very caring individual, especially if you get into the second part of the book. She is also trying her hardest to work on herself. She's trying to work with her trauma. There's just so many layers to Maggie Hosky, and even when she's making decisions I don't necessarily agree with, I'm still like, you know, I can see why you did that though, and I kind of support it. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. This is your annual PSA that I am a robot and therefore do not cry. Unless apparently it is a K-drama called Because This Is My First Life, and I get a little teary-eyed when she's reading her mom's letter. That was a new experience for me this year, but that's not a book. I don't usually cry over fictional things. I'm very kind of detached emotionally from the sad things that happen in books. I'll cry over real life stuff. Like, I don't have a problem with that. Usually. But, like, if it's fictional, I'm just like, it's sad it happened, and I am a cold-hearted bitch. I'll see myself out. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy. I've already mentioned Leviathan Wakes like 45 times, so I'm not going to mention it again or talk about it again. I'm going to talk about Get a Life, Chloe Brown, because oh my gosh, this was just, it's so joyful and happy, and like, one of my favorite things about this book is she has, oh my god, is it fibromyalgia? I want to say it's fibromyalgia. And it's a part of the plot, but it is not the main point of the plot. Like, it's something she has to deal with. And I just, as someone who also has a chronic health condition, not nearly as extensive and hard to deal with as fibromyalgia, but still it's like something that impacts my life on a daily basis, especially when it comes to what I can eat and what I can do in some cases. I just really appreciated having a story that it was like, yeah, I'm dealing with this chronic illness, but I'm not, like, it's not the main part of my life, because chronic illness, it goes through phases where, like, you have to be focused on it, or where it affects you more than normal, but most of the time it's just, you know, this is my normal, and I really appreciated that. I also love the little romance. I loved Red as a character. I mean, he's not, like, book crush levels of I'm in love with him for some reason, but, like, he had James Holden to compete with, guys. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to mention Leviathan Wakes again, but here we are. Also, King of Crows by Libba Bray. The ending of that book, not really the ending, but some of the things that happens at the end just was everything I wanted for my favorite characters in the series. I'm not going to say who they were because that's a spoiler, but it brought me much joy. Okay, we're almost done, y'all. Question number 12 is, what is the most beautiful book cover that you have bought? I've got a few contenders here. The first one is the last book, one of the last books I got at the end of last year, but I haven't, you know, this is the first time I'm doing my this tag since I got it. It's The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. Not gonna go into too much about what these books are about, because we're just gonna go through it, because you don't need to know. You just need to know that they're pretty. The next one is obviously The Sound of Stars by Alecia Dow. I love how purple this cover is. I also love how purple that cover is. And a lot of these covers have purple on them, okay? Also, I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. Look at that. Look at that sunset. I just get my face out of here. There we go. Now you can see it. And then technically I bought this in May, so it gets to go on this part of the video, but I have the Queen of Nothing cover from Illumicrate. I just think it's gorgeous with the black sprayed edges. I cannot wait to put the official like special cover on it. I haven't done that yet because I haven't hauled them yet, and I see no reason to put that on there until I've hauled them and showed them in all their glory. But I love this. I don't like the Wicked King one as much, although it is the colors of my alma mater. There's that. But I really like this one because it has the tree and all of the shiny gold foil. Question number 13 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Guys, I have a whole pile for you. Of the ones that I have physical copies of, I need to read The Girl with the Pearl Earring by Tracy Chevalier and Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kinney. These are books that I have for my Best Friends Choose My TBR video, and I need to finish these so that I can put that vlog up and be done with it. Praise Jesus. I also need to finish the Vampire Academy books because I want to reread Bloodlines. And so I need to read books 4, 5, and 6. I have 4, and 5. I just need to read 6. So there's that. I also need to finish the Expanse series. I have Abaddon's Gate. Really? I have book 3. I am sure I will be getting the rest of them. I also know the last book is coming out eventually, soon-ish. I also have Tandy Brown. I need to read that because I enjoyed the first one so much. And Zaf sounds like my kind of guy. Like, he sounds like book crush material. He sounds like I want to show up in his fictional world and propose. I'm running out of room on this shelf, but 2 other books I need to read are Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. I have been trying to read this since it came out in March, and I wanted to finish reading the Infernal Devices series first, and I haven't finished reading that yet, rereading that. However, I'm going into this, I'm going to be like full on feels and ready to go with this because, oh yeah. Anyways, it's my favorite, one of my favorite Shadowhunter couples. I also want to read Winterborn Home for Vengeance and Valor, book number 1. Or maybe it's the only book. I'm not sure if this is a series or not, but it's by Allie Carter, and I love Allie Carter, and I love boarding school books, and so this is what's happening. I need to read it. Question number 14 is, who's your favorite book community member? I've said who my favorite book community member is multiple times in multiple things, but I'm not going to shout him out because he's pretty big. So what I'm actually going to do is link up top my small booktuber reading vlog series where I pick the favorite book from a small booktuber, so someone who has 10,000 subscribers or less, and I read that book. I've done 2 episodes of that so far, and I am looking forward to doing a 3rd episode because that's how I found Leviathan Wakes. I keep finding books that I love. Like, I found so many books that I loved in the last one, and I cannot wait to do that. So I will have those 2 linked down below in the description box, as well as all 11 channels that I have featured so far. If you'd like to do the mid-year book freakout tag and you somehow have not done it yet, I tag you. If you have filmed it but you haven't posted it, I tag you. If you are thinking about doing it and you just haven't gotten around to doing it, I tag you. Pikachu. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite book of the year has been so far. All the way from January, I guess, until July, in case maybe you read your favorite in July. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, I will have other videos over here about things that I do on my channel. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!